Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique, conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
La 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 la
La la.
Freedom.
Today's Freedom Friday. It is February 16th, 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, we got some hoochie
mama
stories for you.
Fuchi.
Yeah. Last week, I had entitled the show Demonic Loosh. Loosh, the care and feeding of demons. From human fear, misery, filth, whatnot, you name it.
Nasty.
Yeah, nasty Fuchi.
Nasty Fuchi.
The care and feeding of demons. And that's what our society is all about now, is the care and feeding of demonic entities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this week, I can't entitle it the same title, but it's basically the same thing. We're going to talk about a transgendered man. See, the media wants to call them transgendered women, transgender women. They're not women, they're men. They're transgendered men. They're men dressed like women. Call it what it is. Anyway, this dude, he went to Mount Zion. You know Mount Zion? You know where God met Moses and gave the law?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mount Zion Medical Center in New York. And now he's lactating to feed a baby.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting. We're going to talk about that disgusting story. Also here in Las Vegas, Cuckoo Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
His father kills his kid, right? And then he goes to the hospital, and then he decides he has to leave to charge his phone.
Yeah.
It's typical. Russian. The Russians are everywhere, They're colluding and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And, this Russian woman who is a Satanist, and her boyfriend who was a Satanist, they were into all kinds of weird sexual practices. Anyway,
Ew.
she, this guy's dead, and she dismembered him. She's a Satanist. Now, let's call it for what it is, man. All right?
Yep.
Then the son, this is kind of a weird story, because the son kills his parents and his girlfriend and her mom.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. They were like church-going people. They just went to church that morning and that evening. So that's what...
that has to be a weird feeling as church members, that you've been with these people, you know them, and then this story would be like devastating.
Yeah. It's like, I attend church with these people. Yeah. I had potato salad with them at the picnic. Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Terrible.
Okay. And then the very last thing, if you haven't seen this, you really need to see this. I'm sure you have. I don't know who hasn't seen the Obama portraits.
Ugh, I know. Who hasn't
know.
seen
But we're
it?
going to talk about some of the weird stuff in that portrait, and you do what you will with it. But weird
It's
stuff.
weird.
All right, Miss Kapow, we will get going with the stories as soon as you give a word of truth, because then we're going to talk about all the nonsense.
Okay, I'm going to read from Deuteronomy because I'm reading that book right now, and
The book of Deuteronomy?
Yeah,
Mm.
but I want to read from chapter 32. It says, "Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, and my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of the Lord, ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Thus do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old, and consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, and Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found them in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led them about, and he instructed them. He kept him as an apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up her nest, flutters over her young, spreads abroad her wings, takes them, bears them on her wings, so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange god with him. And he made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, and not to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. And I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend mine arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without, and the terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the men of gray hairs. And I said, I would scatter them into the corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, Our right hand is high, and the Lord hath not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, and their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, Where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever.
Good. Very good. All right. Let's talk about this stuff.
Okay. All right.
Everybody knows about the Florida shooting. And you're going to hear the same stuff over and over again. The same agenda, gun control, this, that, right? But because we always at least attempt to look at the spiritual causes behind these behaviors, here's an article you're going to hear about, and you'll never hear about it again, because this is not what the media wants to talk about, and it's not what people want to hear. So you'll hear about all the other agendas, but you'll only hear this probably once, then it'll disappear and you won't hear it again. And this is from the Daily Mail, and it says, Florida gunman says demon voices told him how to pull off a school shooting. Mm-hmm. And the police reveal they were called out 39 times to his family home, blah, 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 blah. So the rest of it's all the agenda stuff and talking about it. All I care about on this show is demon voices. Mm-hmm. Told him how. Not just to do it, but how to do it. Of course I believe that. I believe that 100%. Of course.
Definitely.
Of course. So I'm not going to go over all the details. It's all on the news. You know all this stuff. I just want to talk about this. The gunman, he killed 17 people in Florida. He told police he heard voices in his head that gave him instructions for the attack. Mm. The voices were described as demons, quote unquote, by law enforcement sources. That's all I want to say about that. Mm-hmm. You won't hear about it after this. You'll probably never hear it from any other source, because no one wants to believe in demons. This society doesn't want to believe in fallen angels and demonic entities and spiritual things that are ruining the human genome. They'll believe that there's a Tesla circling, the outer space, mm-hmm. playing David Bowie music, and that the whole history of man is on this little disc that doesn't exist. Right?
Right.
The technology doesn't even exist, but it was made for this Tesla. That's, billions of dollars, right, to shoot this car into space, and they only had the live feed of the car for 4 hours before the battery went out. 4-hour battery, but you spent millions of dollars to do it. Folks, if you believe there's a Tesla floating around in space, I have some swampland in Nevada I would love to sell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not be so naive, on these things. What a crazy lying world we live in. Unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay, kid.
First story. Transgender. Okay. I'm going to jump on my soapbox. There's no such thing as a transgender woman. That's what the media uses. That's the term they use. It's a lie. There's no such thing as a transgender woman. A woman is a woman. A man's a man. Mm-hmm. What they are is transgendered men. That makes sense now when you read it. Transgendered man breastfeeds baby after hospital induces lactation. Now, doesn't that make sense? But if you read their headline, it says transgender woman breastfeeds baby. And you're like, what, a woman breastfeed? Yeah, of course. It's a transgendered, you have to put the ED behind it, man. Or if it's a transgendered woman, that means it's a woman dressed like a man. That makes sense. That's the new rule, folks. It's the new rule. I just have declared it. As king of the Fifth Hook Media Kapow radio show, Freedom Friday, I've just now declared this law. All right? There's a picture of these two nut buckets here. Zeal Goldstein is clearly a dude dressed like a woman. Clearly. He's a tranny. He's a nurse practitioner. And Dr. Tamar Reisman, I'm not sure if it's a dude or a female. I can't really tell by the picture. I don't have enough to go by. It could be a dude dressed like a chick, but I'm not real sure. But these two nut buckets and the nurse practitioner, who's clearly a man dressed like a woman, is a transgender activist, right? Now, check this out. They actually work out at Mount Sinai, right? Mount Sinai. You think that's a Jewish hospital? To some degree? Do you think there's some Kabbalists that might own this hospital? Why would you name it Mount Sinai?
Right. Now,
Mount Sinai is the mountain that God, Yahweh, came down on and gave the law to Moses.
That's right.
So they named their hospital Mount Sinai. So they're Jewish. But check it out. It's Mount Sinai Center for Transgender Medicine and Surgery in New York. Really? You have a center for transgender medicine? So these he, she's, and she-males have their own medicine and surgery center in New York. They have their own set of problems and their own medical staff. Are you serious?
Yep.
There's a problem here. So anyway, when this transgendered man who's dressed like a woman, who thinks he's a female, he told doctors at a hospital in New York, Mount Sinai, that he wanted to breastfeed his pregnant partner's baby. I know. Your mind's going, well, I'm trying to figure out the partner. Well, the partner has to be female if she's pregnant. Only females can get pregnant. Well, then these doctors put him, I'm replacing the pronoun here because they keep using the wrong pronoun. They have an English problem. They keep calling him a her. It's a him. They put him on a regimen of drugs that included this anti-nausea medication. I need some right now. Yeah, because this makes me nauseous. This medication is licensed in Britain and Canada, but it's banned in the United States. And the reason why it's banned here is because studies have shown it gives people heart attacks. Yeah, whatever. Now, within a month, according to the journal, folks, are you sitting down? Because if you're driving, I want you to pull over right now because I'm about to say something. There's a journal called, a medical journal called Transgender Health.
Yes. It gets worse.
I'm projectile vomiting right now on my computer screen.
I ain't cleaning it either.
Come on, Miss Kapow.
Fuji.
A journal called Transgender Health. My God. Good Lord in heaven. The man who's 30 years old was born male, you think? And he was producing droplets of milk.
Oh,
God.
nasty.
Ugh. Within 3 months, 2 weeks before the baby's due date. Now, this poor kid,
I
come
know.
on.
It's
Really?
a travesty.
Really? There's got to be a special place in hell for these morons.
Mm-mm.
Come on. He had increased his production to 8 ounces of milk a day. In the end, the study showed that they say she, but it's a he was able to achieve sufficient breast milk volume to be the sole source of nourishment for his child for 6 weeks, according to the Journal of Transgender Health.
Dang.
Folks, do you see a problem here?
Yeah.
He's on a bunch of drugs. He's on a bunch of hormones. He's on a drug that's been banned here in America because it causes cardiac arrest, anti-nausea drug. And now he's producing a milk, a substance from his male breast, and he's going to have an infant suckle that chemical coming out of his sick, demonized body.
I would say that the formula would be safer to drink than this stuff.
Ugh, absolutely.
Nasty.
But when you're a transgendered nut bucket, this is how they think because they're demon possessed.
And the thing is, they're equating his breast milk with normal women's breast milk that God made.
Yes.
And I'm going to read a little bit about what actually is in a woman's breast milk.
All right.
So
Go for it now.
Shall I do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got this article, and it says here that that the advantages of breast milk are numerous. Breast milk is ultimately the best source of nutrition for a new baby. Many components in breast milk can help protect your baby against infection and disease, and the proteins in breast milk are most easily digested than in formula or cow's milk. And the calcium and iron in breast milk are also more easily absorbed. Now, in breast milk is found proteins, and there are different proteins that the milk has, like lactoferrin, which helps with the gastrointestinal tract. It helps protect against coliforms and yeast. And there's another protein called secretory IG, and it works against viruses and bacteria that can harm babies, like E. coli and allergies. There's a protein called lysosome, and that also protects an infant from E. coli and salmonella and other anti-inflammatory stuff. Bifidus factor, it protects the child from, or it actually promotes or supports the growth of lactobacillus, which is a bacteria that helps the baby protect itself against harmful bacteria and stuff. Breast milk also has the good kind of fats, which also helps brain development. And there's vitamins, and vitamins are directly related by the mother's intake of vitamins. So, and also breast milk is good for carbohydrates. It has a lactose, which is the primary fuel for the baby. It says breast milk has the perfect combination of proteins, fats, and vitamins and carbohydrates, and there is nothing better for the health of your baby. It also produces leukocytes, which are living cells that are only found in breast milk, which help fight infection. It is the antibiotics, living cells, enzyme, and hormones that make breast milk ideal, and these cannot be added to formula. And I'm pretty sure it can't be added to men.
No, it cannot be added to men no matter what you do. Surgery, chemicals, hormones. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
and like
on.
you said, that we banned this drug because it can produce heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So now these transgenders have this in their system, and this is what they're giving to the baby.
To the baby. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. some just praised the study.
Well, of course.
As a breakthrough for transgender families. I mean, that is sick right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then others called it dangerous and disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the regimen could represent a next major change in transgender parenthood. Now, here's what's irritating. It says transgender men. Remember, these are transgendered women.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a transgender man. It's a transgendered woman dressed like a man. So transgender men like Thomas Beattie, Tristan Reese, and Casey Sullivan have made headlines by giving birth. You know why? Because they're females dressed like men. But breastfeeding for transgender women, no such thing. It's a transgendered male, had not been officially documented. And it goes on, and it says, like you said, Ms. Kapow, what you just read, breast milk is considered the best form of nutrition for infants. Breastfed babies are healthier. They're smarter. They got this, they got that, and blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. By the way, I mean, little people know this fact about me. I was breastfed till I was 13 years old.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
So that's why I'm so brilliant. Fucci, man.
No.
That's funny right there. Anyway, you're talking about breast milk from a mother, not from a man.
But see, they're equating it to the same, and it's wrong. It's a lie.
To me, these two people should be arrested.
Yeah. Well, they're killing this baby.
Well, if that baby suckles on that man's teat, he should be arrested for child abuse. Mm-hmm. It's banned. You can't. Okay. So let me just end with this.
It's just wrong.
I know.
It's just wrong.
Let me just end with this. Maria Clifford, who's 38 years old, this is according to the article, a British transgender mother. In other words, Maria Clifford is a man dressed as a female. And he has been using a surrogate to breastfeed his child. And what he says, we all want to have the same experiences as women. We need further testing and evidence to show that these drugs aren't going to cause harm to the baby. You think? We need to make sure it's pure and hormone-free. Well, it can't be because you're a man.
And that's a stupid comment, too, because breast milk has hormones in it.
Oh, my.
How can it be hormone-free?
Oh, my Lord. The frustration, it's just unbelievable.
They're idiots.
They are idiots. I'm going to take a short idiot break while I clean up my vomit.
Demons in My Marriage Bed, a true story of spiritual warfare, changed the way my spouse and I conduct spiritual battle and has increased our alertness level to the tactics of Satan. This is an excellent training manual for building a stronger marriage by exposing the tactics your enemies use against you from all online digital retailers. God bless you all.
We're back.
Wow, that was fast.
I know. It just gets shorter and shorter. Okay, here in Las Vegas, lost wages were it's nutty over here. You know what's amazing? The media always talks about Chicago and Detroit, Baltimore, and all the deaths and stuff. Las Vegas, people are dying every day there. The police are killing people. They're killing each other.
Yeah, they're dying horrific deaths.
They're dying in car crashes, fire. It's unbelievable over there. But it's no one talks about it in the rest of the nation. I think, my personal opinion, is because of the casino money, the billions of dollars there.
It's a tourist place.
Yeah, keep everything under wraps. Anyway, it's a poop hole. Las Vegas father, and I say that lightly, fled hospital to charge his phone after his baby's daughter's death. And it gets worse because he actually killed the kid. His name is Cash Bellew. 26 years old, so he knows better. He was charged with murder with the smothering death of his 2.5-month-old daughter. 2.5 months old.
Dear Lord.
Police were called to a hospital to investigate the baby's death after medical staff called it suspicious. And then the investigation found that her father, Belou, became upset with her at the motel they were staying at when she wouldn't stop crying. She's 2.5 months old.
Yeah.
His girlfriend, the baby's mama, was away. So he put the little baby on her stomach in a pack-and-play crib and then pressed the back of her head into her bedding for up to a minute.
Dear Lord.
The girlfriend returned, lunged at him to get him to stop, but he held her off with his other arm and told her, "Stop or I'll kill you too."
Nice.
I think that's a good statement to make. The girlfriend called an ambulance and the baby was pronounced dead, right? Now, while he's at the hospital, he told the staff he needed to go to return to the motel to get his phone charger.
So they could take one last photo of his daughter.
Yeah, dead. The one he killed.
Dear
I got to get my
Lord.
phone charger. This is the kind of mentality we're dealing with here. And then when he went to the motel, it was a crime scene. And so then they arrested him. Yeah. It happens every day somewhere here in this country. And I'm sure in every country it does. Every day. Do you know the Russians did it, Ms. Kapow?
Really?
The Russians got Trump elected. The Russians influenced me. Yeah. They made me believe that Hillary was a nut. And they made me believe that Colonel Sanders was a socialist Nazi nut job. Yeah. So they lied to me. They made me believe this because I don't even have Twitter. And
Wow.
they influenced me. I don't even have Instagram and they influenced me. The Russians did it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. This Russian woman, I'm sure she was part of the conspiracy. 21-year-old Russian woman. She was a Satanist. I love the article. They say she practiced occultism. Doesn't that sound better
Yeah.
than,
It's a religion.
yeah, than she practiced Satanism?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she dismembered the body of her boyfriend after he died during a sex game.
Well, she only did it because she was afraid that she was going to get arrested.
She thought she'd be accused of murder, and she didn't murder him. He probably murdered himself. They were both Satanists, and they were having a good time until
Yeah, till he died.
till this happened. 21 years old, she confessed to dismembering the body who she practiced occultism with and bondage and sadomasochistic stuff with. Her boyfriend's 24, or he was. And let's see. She says that she didn't murder him, but found his dead body and was afraid she'd be accused of the murder. So what do? You either call the police and go, look it, my boyfriend died. I don't know how he died. I didn't have anything to do with it. Here, police investigate this and, clear me. And, I'm sad.
No.
No. Let's take a butcher knife.
Cut him up and hide him under the mattress.
Yes, that's because you know
No
what?
one will ever find it.
The Russians did it. Yeah, and these are the ones who are supposed to influence the American elections. Yeah, right? So anyway, the neighbors say the couple were fans of occultism. They were Satanists. They loved bondage and whatever. What is it called? Dominating stuff. S&M.
Ugh. Fuji. He was like a former policeman.
Yeah.
And a Russian army guy.
And a soldier. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's his social media included Satanist images.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The neighbors said they held weekly orgies. They complained about them making a lot of noise. They were into sadomasochism and similar practices. But anyway, she cut up his body with a knife, and then her sister found the cut up body and then called the police.
Nice. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Oh.
21 years old. My point is the Satanism. Now, anybody who thinks that is not related to their lifestyle and then the end result needs to get their head out of their rectum.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's directly related
Definitely.
to who they worship.
Definitely.
Yeah. Same thing with this deal. Can you imagine going to church in the morning and seeing this godly family that you love, Christian counselor, whole bit, son's a little whack. That night you see him, and then that night he goes and he kills everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was here in the United States. Where at? I don't know. Johnson County. Somewhere here.
Mm-hmm.
This guy shot and killed his parents and then two other people, which were his girlfriend and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then he committed suicide. And they say he struggled with drug addiction for years. Huh.
Really? Huh.
That was according to the family's pastor. Now, the pastor obviously never cast out demons from this guy.
Mm.
I don't know what the pastor did, but
didn't know how.
it was a Baptist church. They don't believe
there you
in
have it.
stuff like that. Yeah, for the most part.
Unfortunately.
State police on Sunday investigated the murders of this woman who was 70. That was the mom. The dad was 75. His girlfriend was 41, and her mother was 57.
Wow.
So she had the kid when she was, 12 or something?
Very young.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 16?
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah.
Still, that's
I breastfed till I was 13, so it can happen.
gross.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
I almost killed myself. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Uh-huh.
I still got a cough because I'm being poisoned by the chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this guy, he's 45 years old, so he's not a kid. He was living with his mom and dad. He has mental problems. He drugs, everything. His sister had died not too long ago with the same thing, with drugs. And so for some reason, they went to church that day. Now, check this out, Ms. Kapow. The numbers here. They said that in a Facebook post that the local 911, right, 911 center received a call at 3:33 p.m. 3:33 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And the deputies found two people dead, the parents. And then he took off and he killed his girlfriend and her mom.
See, that I don't understand why he would do that.
Mm-mm. And then he killed himself.
Especially because they seem to think that he was, still mourning the death of his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he killed his parents, because they were having a hard time adjusting. Obviously, they're grieving. But I don't know why he would kill his girlfriend and her mother.
Her mom. I know. They said that the family had a good day before the shootings, that the mother had fixed a meal and baked a cake.
Mm.
Let's see.
But see, they don't. This is what's frustrating. It's a church, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they don't say this, but they would have. I'm sure written it in here somewhere. But they don't see the spiritual aspect of it.
They don't.
They're trying to make sense of it through the natural, and that's why they're saying, oh, his parents were grieving the death of their daughter, and he had a hard time adjusting to it as well. So that's what they're trying to justify it that way. But obviously he had drug problems, so he's a little mental.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he's opened up himself to demonic influence.
He needed deliverance.
Yeah.
And if he wouldn't accept deliverance, then you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just go, oh, he's on drugs and he's had problems. And well, let me give you a clue. I don't want to bag on this pastor too much. I'm not blaming him for this guy's actions. I'm just saying, I'm just like what Ms. Kapow pointed out. It's a church, and that's not looking at the spiritual aspect of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The pastor's name is James Kelly Caudill. And he's the pastor, and this might give you a clue. at Tom's Branch Free Will Baptist Church. Tom's Branch Free Will Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And here's what he said. This is a quote, so this might give you a clue. He goes about the deaths. He says, quote, "It's a hard lick."
All righty then.
It's a hard lick. Oh, he said that this guy had struggled with drug problems for years. He'd been through treatment, and he seemed to suffer a setback after the death of his sister,
See?
who also had drug problems. And then he calls him a boy. He goes, "This boy." He's a 45-year-old man.
I know. I do.
It's a hard lick over here at the Free Will Baptist Church.
Free Willy.
Free Willy. He says, this boy, he just never really get over that.
For the love of pizza.
I think it just inflamed his addiction.
Oh, for the love of pizza.
And then he
Really?
said, it just came to a head. It just came to a head, Mr. Bear.
I can't tell you how much this annoys me.
I know. He said his parents loved him and he
Couldn't
loved them, and there's no bad blood between them that the pastor was aware of. The three attended morning and evening worship services together that day. They went to church twice that day. Then that night, this 45-year-old man sat between his parents. Yeah, this 45-year-old boy, Corey, don't give a lick, sat between his parents on the front pew, but the pastor said he was out of it on some substance.
Good going, Pastor.
Yeah, maybe we ought to stop taking the offering and singing silly songs and go, hey, what's wrong with you? Mm-hmm. Maybe you need the blood of Jesus.
Amen.
Or at least the rest of us do, to protect us from your demonic butt. You want to do drugs, that's your deal. You want to die and go to hell, that's your deal. That has nothing to do with me. And I don't want you near me. Right?
Right.
Anyway, this guy, the murderer, blurted out something during the service. Who knows what that was, but his mother calmed him down. The pastor said. Yeah. And then the pastor, it's a hard lick. Hard lick Caudale. I mean, what a statement. It's a hard lick.
I'm sorry.
It is. It's amazing.
So annoying.
And then he said that the woman, the dead mother, had worked as a Christian counselor, and her husband was retired from insurance sales. Okay, he's a Christian counselor. Okay, well, they were faithful members and had raised their children in church, the pastor said. Just wonderful people. That's what, quote unquote, wonderful. Oh, my goodness. So I know I'm hard on these people. I know that. And so you should judge and be judged. I don't care. I don't care. I am hard on them because they deserve to be called out. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You know who I love? Barack and Michelle Obama. And I love the new portrait.
They don't even like the portraits.
They selected these artists for their social justice viewpoints, but obviously they didn't select the artists for their ability to actually paint. It's like something you buy at Walmart. This is horrible.
It's disgusting.
I'm only going to mention this because I'm 100% positive every single person listening to my voice has looked at these portraits of Barack and Michelle Obama. As a former president and former first lady, they get a portrait painted and it's hung in the Smithsonian Gallery. Mm-hmm. Every president and the first lady gets these. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you have. But everybody, not just conspiracy theorists, but regular media people have noticed.
How can you not? You know what I'm saying?
Obama has an extra finger to go with his freakishly alien large hands. Did you see those hands, folks? Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Look at the picture. Look at his wrist bone to finger ratio. It's the exact same size from his wrist bone to his elbow. No one has an anatomy like that.
Not any human, anyway.
Yeah. And then his left hand that's crossed over, it looks like he has an extra digit, an extra finger tucked under. Mm-hmm. And there's no thumb. This guy either was on drugs that he can't paint. I don't know. It's horrible. And Obama's sitting on a chair. I'm sure you saw it. I don't need to describe it. He's surrounded by wild poison sumac. His body's out of proportion. It looks like he's going to fall off the chair. It's just bizarre. It is bizarre. It's like the ugliest thing you could. It's horrible. It's horrible. Why they would do this, I don't know. I don't know. And apparently the artist has painted some paintings where some black people are beheading white women. Now,
see, if it was reversed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be hate paint.
Hate paint.
But this is paint. Like, this is art. It's wonderful. Yeah, right. It's not offensive.
No. And this particular article from PJ Media, written by Paula Bolliard, she said the newly released portrait of former President Barack Obama is raising some troubling questions, not the least of which is, what were they thinking? Yeah. The portrait was unveiled Monday at the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C., and she goes, let's begin with the odd background of the painting, which looks like a cross between a Caribbean street mural, and it does, and a Fenway Park's big green monster. It's supposed to be some kind of homage to Obama's roots in Chicago, Kenya, and Hawaii or something. I don't see it. It's just some weird leaves and flowers. Oh, the artist is also known to put sperm on his paintings. I'm not making this up, folks. I think he was breastfed until he was 30. That's what makes him a brilliant artist. And he was breastfed by a man. But anyway, he's supposed to put he put sperm in his because you learn that in art school. You learn that, right? Yeah. And then on this article, it says the flowers look like poison sumac. It has some itchy implications. Mm-hmm. And they do look like poison sumac. Anyway, it's 6 toes and banjos, folks. The hands have a digit, and who knows why. Actually, and they're alien. They're alien. They're the long alien hands that look like a gray. So maybe they're just putting this up on our face so that, when they do the false flag alien invasion.
Yeah. Well, this one commenter says that what you're seeing is that the ridge on his hand is either the pad muscle from his palm squishing out, accentuated by too much shading on the artist's part. Oh, somebody else said, brilliant. So he has fat hand.
Yeah. And the artist who's drawing a former president of the United States, painting this for the Smithsonian Gallery, doesn't have the skill not to shade the hand where it looks like an extra digit? Yeah. Really? That's your excuse? Mm-hmm. Go back to the rock you live under.
Yeah. Someone said that Hitler was a better painter than this guy.
Yeah, he was? Yeah. My goodness. It's absolutely horrible.
Wow.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Michelle Obama's.
Oh my goodness.
Portrait.
That one is like, ooh.
Well, she has the same problem. Her arm length is uncanny. From her shoulder dripping down to her knee or whatever and crossing over her knee. It's like 6 feet long. It looks like a reptile. No one has arms that long. Mm-mm. The other thing is she's not a black woman in this portrait. She's charcoal gray, maybe? Is she gray? It's grayscale. She's not even black. Her hair is worn like she's never wears her hair. Mm-mm. It's parted in the middle like Beyonce and long and flowing.
And I love the expression on Michelle's face when she first sees it.
Yeah.
It's like, and all she could say is, wow.
Wow.
Wow. She goes, let me just take a minute. It's amazing. Wow. And she just gasped.
Yeah. She can't even hide her.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe these two are being punished for something. I don't know why you would choose this artist. Michelle chose this artist to do this portrait of her because she's a social justice person too.
Yeah.
And after spending time with her, she really bonded with her, so she chose her. This thing's horrible.
Yeah. Well, this is the reward.
The face on her portrait looks nothing like her.
No.
That's what's amazing. Michelle Obama, Michael Obama, is missing from the Michael Obama portrait. She's not there. It's
an embarrassment. It really is.
And this weird black and white dress with some yellow way on the bottom. It's just weird and not good. Odd.
And then when you compare these paintings to the former paintings,
yes,
of the presidents and their wives, it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So if you haven't seen those, do yourself a favor and look at those. It's incredible. And I'm not just being mean to the Obamas. I would make fun of any president that had this stuff. This doesn't make sense. I really don't get it. I don't have the answer for it. It almost seems like, I don't know, they're being punished for something. It's horrible.
It is.
Horrible.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. The other thing you should look into is those creepy cheerleaders in North Korea. There's a few videos on YouTube, not a whole lot, of them singing and doing the routine and stuff. God, just like a bunch of droids, a bunch of synthetics. Really odd stuff going on today. Anyway, I think that's it, Miss Kapow.
All righty. Ciao, babies.